I've seen a lot going on in recent days that tells me that there are people who have learned things that uh, they're not helpful for them. They've accepted realities that are not really true realities. Somehow they've been spoon fed stuff that's not true. And, you know, my wife and I watch murder mysteries. And one of the things that you often find in murder mysteries is people get killed by strychnine poisoning, or rat poisoning or something, where the evil person puts a little bit of poison in a drink or in the person's meal every night for a month or whatever to slowly kill the people. And that's basically what's been going on. Is we've had spoon feeding going on to very slowly to ruin people's minds, and we need to avoid that. But we use a spoon to do spoon feeding for babies and for people who are sick, invalid, people who can't use their own arms to pick up a fork or hands to pick up a fork or knife or whatnot. And we use a spoon to dip it up and help them to be able to feed themselves. That's good. But spoon feeding stuff that's not nutritious, not helpful, that is not good. And so it's important about who wields the spoon. We need to consider that. And one of the main people we know who wields a spoon is the news. Other sources, our education system wields the spoon. And so does the music industry and novels, etc., videos. I'm sort of a spoon feeder myself, and let's hope and pray that what I share is very nutritious stuff, metaphorically. But we can see in the news where in fact, you've probably seen what I've seen, a very humorous video of a compilation of newscasters across the United States all at the same time saying the same words or sentence or even paragraphs, the same exact words. So that means these people aren't thinking for themselves and giving you what they know is true. They're just regurgitating something that they've been given, that someone is giving them a plate full of pablum, and they dip it up and they put it in your mouth, metaphorically. So so we get influenced in all different ways. It's not always a talking head or a news talking head. It's not always a teacher who is just maybe doesn't even know much about the subject they're teaching. You know, uh, uh, they're just using the textbook and talking to you and telling you what the textbook says. And I've been around a good long time, and I've seen plenty of situations where groups have argued with their board of education, their state board of educations, about the books that are being selected, or the local board of education about the books that are being selected and what's being taught, because there's no scientific evidence that what's being taught is really real. There's just theory, or whatever the issue is, maybe historical evidence. It's just what is the common accepted narrative by the people who are writing books. And often books get written by experts because they're trying to come at things from a new angle, and they need to have some notoriety. So a college professor, he can't just regurgitate what the last guy did. He's got to come up with his new angle. And sometimes those things end up not having much integrity in the long run once we learn more about an issue. So, but we have all kind of influencers who, the language we use, the fashions we wear, our morality, the language we use. I remember when before Michael Jackson, bad meant something was not good. After Michael Jackson, bad meant something totally different, right? So we have these celebrities who are influencers who change the way people talk and think, and you see, therefore, they're taken advantage of in order to influence you in different ways. And we just had an interesting situation here recently where Beyonce was paid $1 million, and Beyonce is an entertainer, for those of you who have your head in the hole. And she was paid $1 million by one of the political campaigns in order to come and talk for less than 5 minutes to give her support to that campaign. Now, most people just give support to political campaigns out of their own heart because they have an allegiance to the either the individual or the principles that the person is representing. But in this case, she got paid $1 million to do that. So that sort of raises the question about, well, is she just a spoon person who's feeding you, or is she somebody who has a passion about and really believes in what she's standing in front of you about? And we have, this is just common. You can look through the last year or two and you can see a lot of that going on in various campaign situations. So it's important that if you're going to be spoon-fed, you need to be spoon-fed the truth. Good, healthy truth. And not just narratives. Okay, you've heard me talk about narratives in other videos. Up until about a decade ago, I thought that the way to get to the truth was to watch the various TV news sources, and I would watch ABC, NBC, CBS, and I'd go over and look at CNN, and then I'd go over and even look at Fox, and because I wanted to get the whole picture. I knew that it didn't matter if I looked at just CBS, I was just getting one viewpoint. It might have been a pretty good viewpoint, but it was just from one angle, and I wanted to get the entire angle so that I could really have a grasp on reality. That's just who I am. I urge you to try to be a little bit more like that if you're not. So to get a grasp on reality, I looked at many things. But what I realized about a decade ago is that these sources that I had always assumed were just telling me the truth from different angles were often just telling me propaganda. They were telling me the propaganda that they were just regurgitating what and presenting something that military people or government people or business people wanted me to know or think, to scare me, to motivate me in one way or the other, etc. And it finally dawned on me that that's really what was going on. So now I watch the news. I don't listen. I don't believe anything I'm listening to, and I do other more in-depth research. I listen to a lot more things so I can get a lot more perspectives and see whether or not the people who I'm looking at on the news are telling me the real truth. But I'm just stating that, I've been after this truth for a long time. It's not a new thing for me. I used to, when I was working on my graduate degree, I'd spent hours in the library. I just wanted to know everything I could related to the subject that I was writing a thesis on. And I wanted to share as much as I could about it. And I ended up writing a thesis that was almost 100 pages long. And it was criticized by the standards committee. It was some committee came into the school, the graduate school at that time. And one of their criticisms was that our theses were too long. So they wanted theses to be only 50 pages long, not 100. Okay. So my point being that I'm looking for the truth and I'm giving you all the information I can whenever I'm sharing. So we need to watch out about where the spoon is coming from. And it's better to hold the spoon in your own hand and do your own dipping into the bowl than to let somebody come along and put the spoon in your mouth. And I hope that you'll, if you're not critiquing the spoon feeder, I hope that you'll at least start critiquing the spoon feeder. And there are piles of sources out there. There's sources that will give you. I saw something today on a video I was watching about a source that actually, and I wish I had it on the top of my head, but that actually gives you. It goes through the news and it selects all these articles that are left and right, and it categorizes them so that you know what's left and what's right to help you. Just to help you out in your research. And then you can go through and look at how different sources, different newspapers, magazines, etc., how they represent things, even in their headline, which You know, I don't even believe a headline I see on the internet these days, because they're normally just some kind of silliness. Anyway, beware of the spoon feeder, and get your own spoon. Have a good day.